I, 25 female, recently broke up with my boyfriend, 30 male, of 4 years because of sex. Did I make a mistake?
Hold on, she's 24. He's
25.
30.
So there's a 5-year difference.
5 years, but they started 4 years ago.
Yeah,
She said
yeah.
Been together for 4 years.
20, 25, yeah. 21,
Oh,
21.
she was young. Okay.
Okay. I broke up with my boyfriend because I didn't think we were sexually compatible, and his sex drive didn't match mine. When we met, he was a virgin, so I knew he wasn't going to be amazing at first and just needed practice. As time went on, I tried to tell him things I liked in bed, and he wasn't comfortable with it. Quotation, I like soft domination. He is more submissive, so I had to take the lead majority of the time, and it was becoming boring and a chore for me. A few months ago, he wanted to try swinging. I was open to the idea.
Like
but
multiple partners?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was open to the idea, but once I had a taste of sex that was finally satisfying, I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I wanted more. But he wanted to stop swinging. I felt incredibly guilty thinking constantly about these other men and how unsatisfying my boyfriend was. So I told him I wanted to end it. He thinks the reason is very shallow, but sex is very important to me. Our families don't understand. I don't know what to tell them. Did I make a stupid mistake?
Okay. On that one, I'll let you take it because you already know I'm going to cook on that. But what are your thoughts on that, love?
Okay. I think she's kind of right in when she said sex is important. And I think she did the right thing. I think she did the best thing for both of them because she didn't go out of her way to cheat or basically make him the side. She was very open about what she likes. She definitely gave him a chance. I mean, 4 years of them being together.
I hear that was shit.
And first of all, it was him who wanted to try swinging. When she finally got that taste, it was like, wow. You know what? It was kind of like that realization of, you know what? I think it's best for both of us if we're not together because even though she's very aware of, you know what, it feels stupid and,
but she wasn't getting her needs wanted.
She wasn't getting her needs met. And obviously, instead of staying in a relationship where she might end up resenting him and might cheating on him, she decided to do the right thing and end things. Like, if that's what she wants, you can't really force someone to stay, especially if it's a shallow reason. If it's important to her and she wants to end things, even if it was vice versa, even if it was the other way around, I still think it would have been the right
I feel
thing.
like that's that Adam 22 and Lena the Plug situation going on. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. Men naturally lead the relationship, right? In most cases. So when you make a decision to do that, if you're going to do that, you got to be willing to make your bed and lay in it. You don't, at least for me, I think that's the stupidest thing a person can do is risk the health of their relationship for their sexual desires. Straight up. That's really what it was, is sexual desires. I don't think she's the asshole. I would call him the asshole simply because it's like, yo, you introduced this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you
yeah.
brought this to terms.
That wasn't her idea.
Yeah, so again, mind you, if you do, and this is where you got to be careful with relationships and you got to make sure that you're mentally on the same page and talk about these things. And most importantly, you got to be sexually on the same page because now you're doing swingers. And if he was already mediocre before, you have somebody who's going to be a night and day difference. It's almost, remember, sex is a drug. And once you get hooked, it's hard to get off of that. And you introduced her to that drug. And most cases not. Men do that shit, at least in my opinion, because they're selfish. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
I get you.
I think with him, it's just like, yo, dude, you played yourself. You're a clown. You have something good. But at the same time, she's kind of the asshole too. And the reason I kind of call her the asshole is if your man's not doing it for you, you also got to speak up. A baby that doesn't cry doesn't get fed.
No, but she's in there in the story. She specifically said that she tells him the things that she likes, but that it makes him feel uncomfortable. So now you find yourself at an impasse because it's like you want to respect your partner's wishes of being okay. We're doing something sexually that makes you uncomfortable. I totally understand, but then it's like, but she has certain needs. I think we talked about this before. Yeah. She has needs that aren't being met what kind of compromise do you do in that situation?
But here's why I have to look at it sideways, because it's like, yo, you're not comfortable with what she's asking for, right? But you're comfortable to bring in another person?
Dude,
like,
yes.
come on, man. That's fucking contradiction. You know what I'm saying? That's a contradiction in its own. What it sounds like to me is you weren't comfortable satisfying her needs, but you're a fucking selfish piece of shit who wanted to satisfy your needs and disregards hers. So that's not fair, bro. And I understand it's not fair. It's just not right. You were not being equal with your fucking partner. Because there's no way you're going to sit here and tell me that you weren't comfortable doing certain things with your girl one-on-one, but you're willing to bring a complete fucking stranger in? Like, yo, how entitled are you, bro?
We're going to have to agree to disagree in when you said about, like, the sex thing, about, oh, you know, like, the fact that she ended it because of sex. It was, what was it that you said? Like, I think it was, like, kind of shallow of her. I think that's what he said, but
I think it's shallow. Okay, so let me correct myself. I think it's shallow of her because here's the thing. Nobody wants to be the bearer of bad news. You get what I'm saying? But the one thing you can't get back is time. So the reason why I'm coming at her is like, yo, you knew that he wasn't doing it for you, but you kept holding on. You get what I'm saying?
Right,
and then that's where you have to really look at yourself like, if you know you're not down for something, no matter how you may look at it, it's never good news. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
own
get
it.
you. I think she did a pretty good job of managing the situations and her emotions and trying to find compromise and solutions. You know, she did mention that they were together for 4 years, and that when they met, mind you, they're 5 years apart, so he had to have been like 24, 25 when they had met. So and he was a virgin at that time.
All right. If he was 24, 25, right?
And a virgin.
And he was a virgin. Wow.
And that says a lot, because it's like
expectations, not reality.
It's not real. And she was aware, you know, she was aware that he wasn't experienced and that he would need help. But she decided to, like, you know, fall for him and spend what would be the rest of her life with him, is what I'm assuming.
Cater.
And I think if he had never introduced the idea, what do you think? If he had never introduced the idea of swinging, she probably wouldn't have left him so soon.
She would have left inevitably from what she's saying, but I think, like you said, if she didn't participate, it wouldn't have actually instigated it to happen so rapidly. You know what I'm saying?
But because she got that taste of, oh, wow, you know, like, there's better men out here. And I think what triggered her was the fact that because she stated that he wasn't comfortable doing certain things that she asked, you know, that
do it with somebody else.
That just goes to show, okay, she knows, she has this preconceived notion of, wow, I've had what was the best I've had in a really long time, and I know for a fact that my man has stated that he's not comfortable doing these things. How do I get my needs met? Because at that point, once you get a taste, like, you know,
I think crack. It's hard to get back.
He deserves someone who is sexually compatible to him. Because when you're in a relationship with a partner that has different, like, you know, sexual like desires, over some point, depending on how how high it is, there is going to be a point in time where you're going to bump heads with your partner because you want one thing and the other person wants another.
Facts. It just throws me off. How do you go from being a virgin to being into swing? You get what I'm saying? It sounds
there's a lot
like,
of reasons.
No, I get that.
I mean,
but again, we don't have the full story. But if I had to guess, this is a person who fantasizes by what he watches and try to bring it into real life. And it's like, the more you fuck around, the more you find out. So in this case, he's the fucking asshole, yo. The only reason I could call her asshole is not being honest with herself and calling it off sooner. You know, because at the same time, we don't know. It's not specified, but this could have been her using this opportunity to get the fuck out with that. You know what I'm saying?
I think she did
use
it
as a crutch. But I'm good for her, because you don't want to waste people's times, yo. Like, that's the one thing.
Even if it was the other way around, even if it was a guy that got with a girl 5 years apart, you know, and she's a virgin, and she doesn't want to do these things that he wants to do. Yeah. Everyone deserves to have, like, some of their needs met.
You gotta compromise.
You have to compromise at some point, but not for your partner to sacrifice, like, what they're comfortable with, because at that point it's like they deserve better. They don't have to. I think breaking up was a good.
Yeah, I think it was the right thing to do, because you're just leading that person on. Let us know what you guys think, yo, because this is one of those situations. This is more common than people realize. Especially, I don't know if you have friends like that. Like, you know, when you get to talk to your friends, there's always that curiosity. Me, it's my cookie jar, and my hands go in the cookie jar only. No one else's. I'm not sharing no one with my shorty. I don't give a fuck. There's not enough money or anything. And I don't care if it's another woman. It's me who makes my girl feel good. I don't want nobody being able to have that, yo.
I don't want to swing. I don't want to have a threesome.
I want to swing from the chandelier. Yeah, my AD just run with those thoughts.
I'm not about sharing my man. What the fuck?
Right?
You want a different woman? I'll go buy a wig.
What?
I'll pretend to be someone else.
Hey, you know what? That's a win, though. So, final thoughts on it, love?
Yes. So, I think she did great. A good job of ending the relationship because
it wasn't gonna work.
It just wasn't gonna work because he wasn't. If he would have decided to put in a little more effort, I know probably she would have stayed. Been like, okay, let's work it out. Even if it's like after 4 years, he finally decides to work it out.
Because she gave him, when we hear the story, she gave it to him, but he wasn't willing to give it for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just so fucking selfish. That's, at least in my opinion, that's selfish.
Because if you're a person who views sex as like not the most important thing in the world, that's okay. That's your opinion. There are people who are asexual, for example, who don't get turned on. They don't want to have sex. Like, that's just not in them. And that's okay, you know? And there are some people who can have sex, but just they're on a spectrum where they don't have a high sex drive.
Well, my libido's higher than the motherfucking sky right now, so.
But you know what I don't appreciate? People shaming other people because either they have a high sex drive or they have a low sex drive.
Well, it's nobody's business. I think that's where shit is fucked up because everyone puts their business out there. But at the same time, you have to find somebody that you're compatible. Like me, I'm a person who's very sexually active, but I'm not out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm going to be with you, just know, like, this is what I require. It's not that, and honestly, it's a deal breaker. And I know that sounds fucked up to some, but
no, that's
this
totally
is
up to you.
I know myself. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a person who's not has a high sex drive, I could tell you it's not going to work out because that's how I am. And some people, but that's how do you compromise on that? This is why it's important to have those conversations because don't get into a relationship with somebody thinking you could change them. You know what I'm saying?
If they state I'm open to it, but there are some days where I'm gonna be very tired. Okay, and that's respectable.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But also, you have shorties, and believe it or not, some men use sex as a advantage, like hostage. You know what I'm saying? Use their sexual advances as a hostage to do it to when they want something, not because they want to make their partner feel good. It's supposed to be a two-way street. Right. So my final thoughts on it is like, yo, buddy's an asshole. He played himself, and honestly, you're a selfish piece of shit, in my opinion, to say you're not sexually comfortable satisfying her needs, but you're okay bringing in a third person. But